Hi friends, and welcome to the channel. In this video, I'll show you how to create cartoon characters and scenes like this one in PowerPoint. No add-ins or extra software required. We'll build this scene out from scratch, but as we go, you'll see that there's lots of other characters and backgrounds and props and so forth. So even if this one is not exactly what you're looking for, stick with me. Using the steps we cover in this video, you should be able to create almost anything you want here in PowerPoint. So let's get started. I'll switch over to this blank slide that I have here. And the first thing we need to do is to choose a scene. So I'll come up to our Insert menu here and Icons. Now the first thing to call out is there's no additional software or add-ins or anything required, but you will need a Microsoft 365 subscription to get access to this full library. If you have a different subscription, you might only get a subset of this library. So just a heads up there. All right, up on top, we'll choose Cartoon People. And then over here on the far right, there's a filter for scenes, so click on that. And I'll show you how to customize any of these, but I tend to want to start with something that's pretty close to what I had in mind, and then I can edit. And for what I'm doing, I want something with a whiteboard, some chairs, a laptop, and a table. I don't need these other things here on the table, but we'll select this and I'll show you how we can delete those. So we'll insert. And then for any kind of customizations, usually the first thing you want to do is to click on the graphic, and then you can either right-click and convert to shape, or up here on your ribbon under Graphics Format, you can click on Convert to Shape. And you'll see here that it tells you what's going to happen. This basically will convert the overall graphic into individual shapes. So let me just show you what that looks like. I'll convert to shape, and there you'll see that this graphic is just made up of a bunch of individual objects or shapes. So that's usually the first thing you're going to want to do. And after you do that, you can just select anything that you don't want here. So I'll get rid of these lab items. We don't need these, don't need the microscope. And then we can also move things around. So I'll pick up this chair, move it over here. You can also rotate. So I will go up to Arrange and then Rotate. We'll flip this horizontal so it's facing the same direction. And then just like any other shape in PowerPoint, you can color things. So I'll come up to Shape Fill. And let's say that we make these kind of a grayish bluish color, maybe like this one here. But you'll see I lost the outline when I did that. So I'll need to come up to Shape Outline. And I'll just select kind of a dark gray color here. And then I'll do the same for the other chair as well. So treating these just like you would any other shape in PowerPoint. You can also resize things. So let's take a look at the table here. If I just drag this handle over, I can resize that, make it a little bit shorter, move the laptop over so it doesn't fall off the table. I can color the table. So if I select that, coming up to Shape Fill, let's make this kind of a gray color. We'll also put the outline back on that. And then we also want to color the laptop. So let's make this a lighter gray, maybe like this. We'll put the outline back on. And then for some things, you'll see there's actually multiple shapes here. If I were to right click on the laptop and come into Group, you'll see that I have the option to ungroup, which means there's multiple shapes in here that are grouped together into a single shape. So if I ungroup that, you'll see there's multiple things here. So let me just select the screen and we'll make that, say, a white color. So sometimes you need to sort of click around on things and convert shapes and ungroup shapes and so forth to get to what you need, but it's pretty straightforward as you get into it. All right, now let's go choose one of our characters. So we'll come up here to Insert, Icons. Once again, go to Cartoon People, but you'll see there's lots of other stuff here that you can use. I'd encourage you to kind of play around and find exactly what you need. But we'll go to Cartoon People. And then scrolling down, there was one character that I really liked for our presentation. All dressed up here. I'll insert that. So let's say that he is going to give the presentation. This is another example where you'll want to right-click and say Convert to Shape. There's multiple shapes going on here. So you'll see that if you click on different parts of the character, that he's really just made up of different shapes. So let's select the bow tie here and see if we can color that. We'll go with a red bow tie, very sharp. Color the pants. Let's go with kind of a blue, dark blue color. Take care of the shoes here. We'll make these black, let's say. So obviously there's no right or wrong here. Just play around with it till you get it just the way you want it. And the last thing we'll do, I will color the hair to kind of a blonde color. There we go. Now, one thing to note is after you convert to shapes, or maybe you've ungrouped, sometimes things become disconnected. So if I were to ungroup here, for example, and then just try to pick him up and move him, sometimes things get ungrouped like you wanted, but you'll need to be able to move them all together at once. So just a heads up there. I'll do a Control Z to undo that. Generally what I do is I just take my mouse and select everything to make sure I've got all the different shapes so you can move them all at once. But just be aware of that. All right, now let's add something to the whiteboard here. I'll show you some of the icons available. So coming into icons again, there's actually a filter over here for graph. So I'll select that. I'll just choose one of these. Let's go with this one right here. We'll insert. Maybe our character has drawn this on the whiteboard, let's say. As always, you can change the fill color, make that orange. Just try out different things. Now let's add a second character, and this one I'll show you how to customize by adding a different head or a different face. So up here to Insert, Icons, once again to Cartoon People, and then for this, let's filter down by Full Body. Headless, but full body. There's one down here. I need somebody who looks like they're sitting on a chair. So I'll just keep scrolling down. There was one down here, right here, with legs kind of crossed. I'll insert that one. Obviously, you can try other things here for your situation. And then I'll right-click, convert to shape, and then we'll also need to rotate this one to sit him on the chair. So flip horizontal. We'll just kind of place him right about there. I'll select the shirt area. Let's give that a green fill, let's say. And then for shoes, we'll make these kind of a brown color. There we go. All right, now we need a head. So back to Insert, Icons, Cartoon People, and Heads. As always, you can choose what you want here. I think the one I was using before was this one right here. Insert. Now you can resize these if they don't quite look right for the body that you're putting them on. I'll make that a little bit bigger. And then we'll also need to rotate horizontal. Just kind of line that up right there. Perfect. And then finally we need a face. So I will Insert, Icons, Cartoon People, and Faces. Lots of fun emotions here you can play with. I had chosen this one previously, so I'll Insert. This is another one that I need to resize just a little bit, and then we'll rotate, flip horizontal, and place it right over here. Okay, so we've got the major components here. Let's add some finishing touches. We need some coffee, of course. So up to Icons. In addition to filtering out with these buttons on the top, you can also just type in coffee in our case. And here's a nice cup of coffee. We'll select that. Big cup of coffee. I'll move the laptop out of the way. So there's an example of where things became detached. So I'll Control Z to undo that. Make sure that you're grabbing everything here. And then we'll move the laptop over there. Perfect. Here's the cup of coffee. I will resize that just a little bit, even though I do love coffee. Let's make the table just a little bit longer. There we go. I'll select our presenter here. Just sort of try to align things a little bit better. Obviously, this will depend on the scene that you're building out. Just try to balance it a little bit. And then let's add a rectangle to kind of ground this whole thing, like some carpet or some flooring. So I'll just come up to Insert, Shapes this time. I'll grab a rectangle. And then just kind of eyeball here the base of the scene. And for this one, I'll right-click, go to Format Shape. And rather than a solid fill, let's do a pattern fill here. And just choose one that you like. I like the polka dots here. And then for the foreground color, let's go with a gray. Maybe a little bit darker. Something like that. And then for line, let's do solid line, but just a really light gray. All right, now we just need to send this to back. So I'll right click on the rectangle, send to back. That looks better. All right, let's also update the background of the slide. So this white area on the top here, we'll just give it a little bit of color so the whiteboard pops a bit more. So I'll just right click here, format background, and then over here on the right, I'll just go with a super light gray, maybe this one right here, just to make it stand out a little bit more. All right, that's it. If you want to add some kind of a title to your slide, you can just come up to Insert, Text Box. This one will be Presentation Rehearsal, and then I was just using a size 60 font and bold. And there we go. That's how to create your own cartoons and scenes in PowerPoint. There's really so much you can do with these, and hopefully this short video gave you some ideas and enough tips and tricks that you can build whatever scene you need to. I hope you found it helpful. For other PowerPoint videos, check out my playlist, and thanks so much for watching.